Sara, I'm sorry, Tavshin Pei Dalid. And we will be focusing on the story of Eliezer finding a wife for Rivka. I'd like to share with you an approach given by the Malbim on this entire section that is a little bit different than, to me, it's the first time I saw it. It's very interesting, a little of an interesting approach to the to what happened here. So we're not going to read through all the psukim, too many psukim to read, but
Where start?
what?
What start?
So we start at Chaf Dalid, Parak Chaf Dalid, chapter 24, Pasuk Aleph, verse 1. Like I say, we're not going to be reading straight through, too many psukim to do that with. But we begin with, we'll start from the beginning of this chapter. Parak Chaf Dalid, Pasuk Aleph, chapter 24, verse 1. Va'Avraham zaken bo bayamim. Avraham was elderly, coming in days. V'Hashem berachas Avraham b'koil. Hashem blessed Avraham with everything. Vayemer Avraham el avdei zakan beisai. And Avraham said to his servant, the elder of his house, HaMoshe b'chal asher, who ruled over everything that he had, Simna yodcha tachas reichi, place now your hand under my thigh. Vashbi'acha v'Hashem elokei hashamayim, I shall make you swear by Hashem, heaven of God of heaven, v'elokei haaretz, and God of the land. Asher loisikach isha livni, you shall not take a woman for my son. Mibnei saknani, from the daughters of the Canaanites, asher nechi yeshe b'kirboi, amongst whom I dwell. Ki el aretzi v'moladati telech, but you shall go to my land, to my birthplace. L'kach nesha livni liyitzchak, and you shall take from there a wife, a woman, a wife for my son, for Yitzchak. Okay, now, which means that Abraham is telling Eliezer none of the local women. What was wrong with the local women? So not going to elaborate on a lot, but as many of the commentaries point out, the problem with the Canaanite women was that their character was corrupt. Their midos, their character qualities were not good. They did not have good character qualities. And therefore, Avraham said, this is not meant for my son Yitzchak. Rather, go to Aram Naharaim, go to my birthplace, and you'll find a woman from there. They don't have these kinds of flaws in their character like the people of Canaan do. And although they were idol worshippers, but as many of the commentaries point out, idol worship is something that you can correct, while the flawed character, or the character flaws, are something that actually go over from parent to child. And therefore, this is something that Avram did not want to, didn't want Yitzchak to marry such a woman, so that the Jewish people who are going to come from Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov would not have these kind of character flaws inherent in their nature. And therefore, he said, none of the women from Canaan, but go to my birthplace. Now, the Malbim is going to point out a little bit later on, but we'll point it out right now. All Abraham told Eliezer is, find a woman from my birthplace, from my land. Did he make any mention of his family?
No.
No. There is no mention of family here. All there is go there. Here, the women have character flaws. There, they don't have it, or don't have it as bad. And therefore, you go there for a wife. But there's no mention of anything about family. Okay. Now, Eliezer then says to Abraham, what if the woman doesn't want to come? Should I bring your son? He says no. Eliezer swears. Okay. Let's now jump to Pasuk Yud, verse Yud, where it says, after Eliezer swore to Abraham, and Abraham tells Eliezer, you go to my land, and if it doesn't work there, you don't find the woman there, then you're free from the oath that I made to you. Now, Vayikach, Pasuk Yud, verse 10 reads, Vayikach ha'eved asara g'malim g'malei adoinav. The servant took 10 camels from the camels of his master, Vayelech, and he went v'chol tuv adoinav b'yadai, with all the good, all the riches of his master with him. Vayakam vayelech al Aram Naharaim aler Nachar, and he arose, he went to Aram Naharaim, to the city of where Nachar, which was Abraham's brother, lived. Now, Here the Malbim points out that Abraham never said anything about marrying someone from his family. And in essence, Abraham, the only thing Abraham wanted was that she should have good character traits. Didn't make a difference what family she came from. And as a matter of fact, Abraham didn't really have an interest that she should come from a wealthy family, from a prestigious family. Better she comes from a simple family. The chances are better that her character is better from a simple family. And that's all he was looking for. A woman from his birthplace with good character. That's what he was looking for. That was the main thing he was looking for. And he had no interest on a woman, a girl, a woman from a prestigious family. It was Eliezer who took the camels with the riches, because Eliezer figured that there's something a little bit different going on here. Typically, if a man wants to find a woman, the man goes and finds a wife. So if there's a reason to have a wife from this area, it's really supposed to be Yitzchak going there to find the wife and even living there, which was the common practice. But Abraham told Eliezer, you can't do that. Commentaries explain Yitzchak, because he was brought up as a sacrifice. It wasn't sacrifice, but it was sanctified to be a sacrifice. He couldn't leave the land of Israel. And therefore, it was the servant that was sent to bring the woman there. That is not the common way that things were done. And therefore, Eliezer figured that let's take some good things along. Let's show the wealth that she's getting into. And then the family would be willing to send her away, meaning instead of the husband coming there, they'll send her to the husband, and not just send her to the husband, send her through the servant, through the slave of the husband, which was also not typically the way to do things. But Eliezer figures that he'll put in his efforts to convince the family. The way that would be to bring along from the riches, from the wealth of Abraham. All right. Now, the next pasuk in Aleph reads, "Vayavrech hagmalim mechutz lo'ir el be'er hamayim." He had the animals squat outside the city, el be'er hamayim, by a well. Le'eis erev, in the evening time, le'eis seis hashoyavos, at the time when those who draw the water went out. And it was then that Eliezer made his sign. He made a sign with Hashem, that Hashem, send me the right girl for Yitzchak, and the way I will know who the right girl is that the girl who I will ask to give me to drink, and she will say drink, and also I will give your animals to drink, that's the one that you have chosen, that's the one you are showing me is the wife for Yitzchak. That was the sign that he made. Now, so when we learn this typically, we kind of learn it as, he landed up by the well, and and now this idea with the well, he made up this idea with the well. And the Malbim says that his having the animals by the well was done very specifically. And that is, if again, Yavram Avinu is not looking for a girl from a wealthy, prestigious family. He's looking for the girl from the simple family who has the best chance from there will come the positive character traits. And therefore Eliezer is also working with that. And to go ahead and determine who the woman is, who the girl is, by the well, works into that plan. Because if the girl is going to be a girl from a prestigious family, she's not going to come to draw water by the well. From a prestigious family, you don't send your children to draw water. You have servants who draw water. You have water carriers. You have water drawers. They're going to be the ones to bring the water. To find this simple girl, it would be by a well, because the girl doesn't come from the rich family, prestigious family. The children have to go, and they have to be the ones to draw the water. So Eliezer now being by the well, by the water, and being by the water where there's going to be girls coming to draw, is intentionally done because that's the kind of girl. That's the kind of girl from that kind of family is what they're looking for. They're looking from a girl for a simple family. If it's from a simple family, she's going to come and draw the water. Now, and therefore he makes the sign. Now, not only is it going to be that she's going to be from a simple family that draws water, but again, if she's drawing water, and it's not just, and the pasuk points out that this well is outside of the city. That means that this family is willing for their daughter to go outside of the city. And therefore, that's another reason to think that they'll allow their daughter to go with Eliezer away. And the fact that she's going along with the other water drawers, or are these are not from the elite of society, and therefore they're not going to mind if she goes with a servant also. So all these fall into the plan of the kind of woman they're trying to find, the kind of girl they're trying to find for Yitzchak. Okay, so he goes in and he makes the sign. So let's now skip again another few verses, and let's go to Pasuk Tesvav, Pasuk 15. Vayehihu terem kila ledaber. And it was just as Eliezer finished speaking to Hashem about the sign, V'hinei Rivka yotzeis. Behold, Rivka was coming out. Now the Malbim points out that any time something is introduced with the word V'hinei and behold, it means it's something unique, it's something new, it's something novel. V'hinei Rivka yotzeis. Behold, Rivka was going out. Asher yolda leBesuel ben Milka ishes Nachar achi Avraham, who had been born to Besuel, the son of Milka, the wife of Dachar, brother of Avraham. V'chada al shechma, and her flask was on her shoulder. Says the Malbim, V'hinei Rivka means that should Rivka, according to what we just said before, should Rivka have gone out to draw the water? She should not have, because she came from Besuel. Besuel was a wealthy man. He was a prestigious person in town. And therefore, Rivka should not have been going out to draw the water. But you know what? V'hinei Rivka, behold, something new. Rivka went out to draw the water. That was all part of Hashem's hashgacha. That was all part of Hashem's guiding everything here that should happen. Rivka, who typically would not go out to draw water, behold, today she's drawing out water. Why? Because she is from the family of Avraham. She was born to Besuel, the daughter of Milka, who was the nephew of Avraham, and who was the nephew of Avraham, right? And that's why she went out, because Avraham wanted just the girl with the proper character trait. Hashem's plan was not only shall she be from shall she have the proper character traits, she's going to be from the family of Avraham, which is even better. That's an even better thing, to be coming from the family of Avraham himself. That's even better. So the reason why Rivka, today of all days, decided to go out is because Hashem wanted it to be that way. Because she was from the family of Avraham. And the goal and the point that Hashem wants is that Yitzchak's wife should come from Avraham's family. That was a better family. And she should be from a family, well, I call it a better family. I mean, she had a brother, Lavan, who wasn't too good. She had a father, Besuel, who wasn't too good. But at the end of the day, it seems that still coming from Avram's family was the better thing, the better chance of the better character traits. And therefore, this is who came. Rivka. Again, Hinei Rivka. Behold, Rivka. Rivka doesn't go out drawing water, but today she did, because this was the Rivka born into Avram's family. The Chadal Shechma. That's another novel thing, because let's say, okay, Rivka decides to go out to the well. She can bring a servant along. She doesn't have to do it herself. So not only is she going out, she's carrying the flask. Why? Because of the fact that, again, this is all part of Hashem's plan. He puts it in Rivka's head. She should go out. She should be the one carrying the flask. And therefore, she's going to be the one that when Eliezer sees her, he's going to go over to her and ask her to give him a drink. She herself, this girl from this wealthy family, she's the one who's going to go ahead and offer him the drink. And not only that, give him to drink, give the animals to drink. And with that, it's going to be clear. That's going to be the fulfillment of the sign that this is the wife for Yitzchak. Now, let's skip a few more verses. And let's go to Pasuk Chaf Aleph, verse 21. And there it says, this was while she had given Eliezer to drink. She now told Eliezer, "I'm going to the camels," and she was running to the well, and she drew for all the camels. And the pasuk then reads, "Va'ish mishta elah," And the man was Mishayla. He was wondering over her. He was in astonishment over her. Macharish, silently waiting. Ladas, to know, Hayetzliach Hashem Darkiyim Loi, that Hashem brought him success in his way or not. Okay, what's Eliezer waiting around for? Eliezer made a sign. She's fulfilling the sign. What is he wondering about? What is he waiting to see? Says the Malbim, he's waiting to see the following. Now again, according to the Malbim, it's not like Eliezer now, it's not that Eliezer is waiting to see, is it from Abraham's family? Because if you learn that he wants to, that he right away is looking for a member of Avram's family, then he's waiting to see, is this girl really from Avram's family or not? But according to the way the Malbim is learning, that's not what's happening here. He's not looking for a woman from Avram's family. He's just looking for a woman who has a proper character traits, and this seems to be fulfilled. What's he waiting for? The answer is, says the Malbim, he's waiting to see after she does him the favor, is she going to come to him and say, okay, sir, thank you for, I drew the water for you. How about some payment? How about something back for it? Maybe that's what she's doing. Maybe the reason she's doing it is because she figures she can do this and now make some money for doing it. So he is going to wait and see after she finishes doing it all. What's she going to do? Is she going to ask for payment or not? So now look at the next pasuk. Pasuk Chav Beis. Vayihi kasher kilo agmalim l'shtois. And it was after the camels finished to drink. Vayikacha ish nezam zav beka mishkalei. The man took a golden nose ring, ushnei tzmidim, and 2 bracelets al yodeha on her hands. He gave her the gifts. Why? Because they finished drinking and nothing. She's not asking for payment. That means that she was there to help. Oh, she was there to help. So what does Eliezer do? He goes ahead and he gives her the gifts. She's the one. Then, what does the pasuk say? Vayomer basmi at. Who are you the daughter of? Hagidin Ali, please tell me. Hayesh beis avech makam lalano lalin. Is there a place by your father to sleep over? Now, he gives her the jewelry, and then he says, what's your name? Now, the obvious question is, what should have been the order? He should have said, what's your name? And then given her the ornaments. Why is he giving her the ornaments before asking who she is? The answer is, says the Malbim, this is a question that all the commentaries ask. Why did he do it this way? And he says, according to me, it's not a question. You know why he gave her right away the ornaments? Because Eliezer didn't care really who her family was. The family was not an issue here. The whole issue was, what kind of a girl is she? Well, he made the sign with Hashem. She fulfilled the sign. It's clear she has the character traits. This is the one that Hashem designated. Fine, we're good. He goes and he gives her the ornaments. He gives her the jewelry. This is his way of saying, okay, you're going to be coming with me. He didn't have to ask her a name, but was irrelevant at that point. What was relevant was he found the right one and he gave her the gifts. Now, after that, he asks her what her name is. He wants to know who she is, and is there a place where to sleep? So what does she do? She goes and she responds. This is Pasuk Chav Daled, verse 24. V'ataymer I love Bas Besuel Anoichi ben Milka Shayolda Lenochar. I am the daughter of Besuel. V'ataymer and she said to him, Gam Tevin Gam Mispei Ravi Manu Gam Makam Lalun. We have plenty of feed for the animals and also place to sleep. So she now reveals to Eliezer that she's family. What happens? Pasuk Chavav. Vayikaid ha'ish vayishtachu Hashem. The man kneeled and bowed to Hashem. Vayimer, and he said, Baruch Hashem Elokei Adonai Avraham. Blesses Hashem, God of my master Avraham, Asher le'ozav chaste v'amite mim Adonai, who did not leave, who did not forsake his kindness and truth with my master. Anoichi baderech, I was on the way. Nachani Hashem esaychei Adonai, and Hashem has led me to the house of my master's brother. Says the Malbim, what Eliezer is praising Hashem for is for the fact that not only did now he find the girl, but it was actually from Avram's family. That's unbelievable. Anoichi baderech, I was on the way, says the Malbim. Eliezer says, I was on the way. I was just following orders. And the orders were to go ahead and to find the girl with the right character traits. And what happened at the end? Nachani Hashem beis achayadoni. Hashem led me to the house of my master's brother. That not only do we have this is not only just the girl with the character trait, she's actually from Avram's family. That's unbelievable. Okay, now she goes home. She tells him what's going on. Her brother Lavan comes. They bring Eliezer back to the house, and they give Eliezer to eat. And Eliezer says, "Before I eat, I have to speak." Okay, now let us now skip a few verses, and let us go to Pasuk Lamed Zayin, which is verse 37. And Eliezer is saying, "Vayashpi." This is Eliezer speaking to Rivka's family. "Vayashpiyeni Adoni Lamar, my master made me swear, saying, Lo yisika achisha livni. You shall not take a woman from my son, v'mneis haknani, from the daughters of the Canaanites, shonei chiyei ba'artzei, that I live in his land. Imloi, if not, el beis avi telech, you shall go to the house of my father, vel mishpachni, to my family. V'lakachta isha livniya, you shall take a woman for my son." Now, Eliezer is saying that Abraham told him to go to my family. Right? That's what he just said. He says, Eliezer Abraham told him, no, none of the Canaanites. If Imloyal base avi telech, you should go to the house of my father and to my family. So Eliezer is saying that Abraham told him to go to his family. So what's the story? Did he tell him or not? Says the Malbim, no. The truth is, as the Torah says before, there is no mention of family before, and therefore Avram never told Eliezer to take from the family. But Eliezer was smart, and Eliezer understood that if he's going to go ahead and tell them that, I wasn't coming here for family. I was just coming to go ahead and find a wife for Yitzchak, and I chanced upon your daughter. And he didn't want anybody from the Canaanites. He only wanted from his family. So it's going to be a bit strange to them. Like, why couldn't he find somebody from the Canaanites? Because there's nobody good enough there? What do you think? Everybody's here so righteous? It seems very strange to say that Abraham, to them, they're going to hear Abraham say, I don't want from the Canaanites. They don't have the proper character. We'll get it from here. It's not going to go over well. It's not something they're going to be able to really accept. So Eliezer plays it safe. And Eliezer says, Eliezer changes the story. For the betterment of the situation, he changes the story. And he says that Avram sent me to you. He wanted me to come to the family. He sent me to come to the family. Okay, sent you to come to the family. All right. And now, the next thing is, if Eliezer tells them that that Avram sent them to get a wife from the family, then what's the story here about making signs with Hashem? And he tells over that he made a sign with Hashem, and the sign was fulfilled through Rivka. What are you making signs for? If Avram said, come to the family, you should have come to our house, knock on the door, and then speak to us. What was this sign with Hashem? Says the Malbim, that Eliezer's point to them was that, you know what? I wasn't going to just do it the regular way. I was going to do this with Hashem's approval. Hashem has a special hashkacha with Abraham. Hashem treats Abraham in a very special, unique way. And therefore, I decided that the way we're going to do this is we're going to do this through Hashem, with Hashem's approval. That's why I did it this way. And that's what happened. It all worked out. The family that Hashem sent Rivka, and it worked. Now, here is something very important to point out. Taking a look, let's skip again a number of verses, and let's go to Pasuk Memvav, verse 46. And here is Eliezer again, relating to Rivka's family, that he saw Rivka, and I asked Rivka to give me a drink, and Pasuk Memvav reads, Vatamaher, she hurried, Vatarid Kadame Aleha, she lowered her flask, her pitcher from on her, she said, drink, I will also give your camels to drink. And I drank. And she gave the camels to drink. Pasuk Mem Zayin, verse 47. And I asked her and I said, Bas miyad, who are you the daughter of? Vaterim, she said, Bas Besulah ben Nachar. I am the daughter of Besulah, the son of Nachar, Asher Yodel Milka, that Milka gave birth to him. Va'asim anezem alapa, I placed the ring on her nose, vatzmidim al yodea, and the bracelets on her hand. That's not what happened, right? What happened before, the Torah said he first gave her the things, and then he went ahead and asked her who she was. But he changed the story around. You know why? Because again, he's smart. Because at the end of the day, he's going to say to them, and Hashem went ahead and sent her, and I put and then right away, once the sign was fulfilled, I gave her the jewelry. They're going to say, wait a minute, you have to at least ask her who she is. And he did ask her, right? At the end of the day, he did ask her. At the end, he did find out who she was. And actually, in this case that he's having Hashem send her, he has his whole sign with Hashem to get Hashem's approval, official approval for it. Okay, he still has to make sure that this is Rivka from the right family. He's got to make sure it's still from the family. He's got to make sure about that. So if he tells them, well, I just right away, once it was fulfilled, I right away gave her the bracelet, and then I asked her name. That's not going to go over well. And therefore, again, he changed the story, where he said that I asked her, and then I gave her then I gave her the things. All this is how Eliezer handled the situation. But what really boils down here is that the Malbim took care of, in his approach, of two very important questions. The first question is that when Abraham speaks to Eliezer, there is no mention of family. And when Eliezer goes ahead and he repeats the story over to Rivka's family, he says, Abraham told me to go to his family. So before it's not there, and now it is. It's a bit strange. If this is what Abraham said to begin with, why isn't it there right away? And then the other problem is where we find that Eliezer gives her the bracelet and the nose ring before he asks her who she is. How does he do that? And the answer is, because, says the Malbim, his approach is that Abraham never sent Eliezer to get a wife from his family. He sent him to get a wife from a place where he knew the chances were much better that he's going to find the woman of the proper character to marry Yitzchak. And he knew it was going to come from where he came from. And therefore, that's where he directed him. It was not about family. And once Eliezer saw through his sign to Hashem that this is the one, he right away gave her the ornaments. He right away basically betrothed her because of the fact that he found her. Doesn't make a difference what family she comes from. On the contrary, they were looking for a girl from a simple family. And at the end, Hashem sent them not only the woman with the proper character traits, but actually from the family of Abraham, even better. And Eliezer understood that when he's going to explaining them the whole story, that he can't say it the way Abraham said it because they're going to have a hard time accepting it. Therefore, he changed the story to the fact that Abraham originally, Abraham originally wanted him to take from the family. The sign with Hashem was to get Hashem's approval, a stamp of approval to what was going on. And when he told them about the nose ring and the bracelets, again, to make it that they could accept it, it'll be more palpable to them, he therefore changed that story also, that he first asked her name and then gave the ornaments. And what's interesting also to point out, and this is pointed out by Rabbi Emanuel Bernstein from Eretz Yisrael, that we know, Rashi brings down, that when Eliezer first discussed with Abraham about Yitzchak, about getting a wife for Yitzchak, Eliezer said, maybe she's not going to want to come. What do we do then? Rashi tells us, and this is actually Rashi when that's alluded to in the verse when Eliezer says the story over to Rivka's family, that actually Eliezer was hoping that Abraham would say that if, let's say, it didn't work out, that maybe he'll come to me. How about taking my daughter? Eliezer had who he thought was a righteous daughter, and he wanted maybe Yitzchak to marry her. And Hashem told him, and Abraham told him, no, it's not going to work. It's not going to work, for whatever reason that he told him. Okay, now, so Eliezer basically has been rejected. All right, but he's Avram's servant, and he goes. Now, sometimes when we are rejected by someone, and we're not going to do things wholeheartedly for them. We feel hurt. We bear a little bit of a grudge, and therefore we may not be so dedicated to them as we would have been without that. Eliezer was rejected. Eliezer, even subconsciously, could have just, decided, I'm going to go, I'm going to follow Abraham's orders, and I'll follow them. And whatever happens, happens. To go as far as making sure that everything should work out properly, to make sure that Rivka's family can accept what happened. That was something he was doing even though he was rejected. That means he didn't allow the rejection to influence him. He didn't bear any kind of grudge. Even subconsciously, it didn't hold him back from being the 100% dedicated servant that he was to Abraham. He didn't allow the rejection to affect him. And again, it could have been very normal for the rejection to have affected him some way. And that he should decide that he's just going to do what Abraham told him to do. But no, he got beyond the rejection, he forgot about it, and he went and he was totally dedicated as a dedicated servant to his master, to Abraham. And at the end, our sages say that because of the fact that he accepted the rejection without question, he accepted what Abraham told him, he actually became, when Lavan greeted him, he said, Boi Baruch Hashem, come blessed one of Hashem. Abraham told Eliezer was from Canaan. Eliezer was actually from Chum. And we know that Noach cursed Chum. And Abraham told Eliezer that the person who comes from the cursed family cannot become one with the person from the blessed family. That was what he told Eliezer. And Chazal say because Eliezer accepted that wholeheartedly, as we see from the way that he went ahead and he served and he was dedicated in finding a wife for Yitzchak without any question, that because of that, when Lavan calls him, says, Boi Baruch Hashem, go, come, the one who's blessed from Hashem, that actually Eliezer himself, with what he did, with accepting Abraham, what Abraham said, and not allowing any kind of grudge or any kind of complaints, he actually became blessed. He actually was elevated from the typical status of somebody from Chum, and he became blessed. Didn't help his daughter necessarily, but it was something that he attained. So this, I think was a very, to me, a new and interesting approach to this story given by the Malbim. Have a wonderful evening.
This is